Hi guys, I am going to do this changing video with Miss Oakley. I have found for Mother's Day this Mother's Day tag that I want to say Sharon, I think is what her name is, from Love Me Some Reborns posted. She posted it back in April, end of April. And so I'm excuse me. I'll link below her video and the questions that she asked, so that if you want to do this tag for Mother's Day as well, you can, or if you do it a little bit after or whatever. I know personally when I do tags, if I've created a tag, people even do them after, like a while after I do them. I don't mind. So, obviously I've got poor Oakley still in her Easter outfit. I know in the last video with Oakley I had that cute llama romper on her that she's going to wear at the meetups. But I'm going to be putting her in this really cute Child of Mine dress romper. So, first of all, it is like a coral pink with white polka dots. It is sleeveless. It's Carter's newborn. It's sleeveless, and the top has, neckline has like this circular fabric, almost like a necklace type. And on the top of it, it's got this yellow scallop. On the bottom, on the bottom it has a yellow scallop, on the top it has a yellow scallop, and it's got 2 yellow buttons. Then on the dress portion, it's got this really cute bright yellow and black bumblebee with white wings and a pink little stinger, and its cheek is a little pink, and its eye is closed, and it's making like a smiley face. The thing that I love about these is underneath, instead of having bloomers that you either lose or a pain in the butt during diaper changes, it actually has, it buttons and snaps like a onesie. So, or a romper. So it's kind of like a romper onesie, almost like a onesie sewed into a dress. And I love these for the Realcares because when you have to do a diaper change, you have them on and you have to do a diaper change, all I have to do is unbutton the 3 buttons, kind of pull it up a little bit, and do the diaper change. Where with the dresses with like bloomers, you have to pull the bloomers down. Half the time you have got to get them the right way so you can move their legs the right way to do the diaper change. It's just a pain. So I do really like these rompers. And I will get started with, excuse me, with the questions. Question 1. Using only one word, ask your mom if you can. What is the one word she would use to describe you as a child? Compliant. As a child, I pretty much did whatever my parents told me to do. I didn't really buck authority, so to speak. I was very, like I said, if a teacher said do something, I would do it. If my mom and dad said said to do something, I would do it. I was very non-confrontational, so that would probably be the word that she would use to describe me. Sorry guys, I'm putting her ID on. Am I putting it on the right side? I'm trying to think where the sensor is at. Yes, I've got it on the right side. Okay. So the next question is, were you a mama's girl or boy, or daddy's girl or boy? I am, or was and am, a daddy's girl. I've always been that way. I am an only child. Like, all the stuff going on with my dad is very hard on me because I am such a daddy's girl. And I know I've said, like, I get frustrated with my mom living in denial. I will say that, you know, I'm not living in denial about everything that's going on with my father, but I know that if and when something happens to him, it is going to hit me like a ton of bricks. It is going to be ultra, ultra, ultra hard for me. And I already know that. I know I'm going to have a hard time dealing with it, because I am such a daddy's girl. Even, like, my dad and I don't necessarily talk all the time, but I don't know, I just get that sense of comfort when you're around him, or knowing that he's there. I know I've talked about it before, like, excuse me, Melissa from My 600-Pound Life recently just did an update story, or they did like an update for her, and or an update, or like where are they now type thing. I'm hoping this fits her. And her dad was ill when they were filming, and while he's still ill, but he's still hanging out, or hanging in there, she made the comment, she's like, she was talking to a therapist, and she made the comment, she's like, how do I put my life together when Superman is dying? Or my Superman is dying. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks when she said that, because it is so true for me. Like if something happens to my dad, like, yes, I have my husband and I love my husband, not saying I don't, it's just, you know, being a daddy's girl. He's my Superman. Okay. Edit this last buttons. I need to get some more headbands for these guys. I don't have many. There we go. She looks really cute in that, though. Yeah, it does surprisingly fit. I wasn't sure, being a newborn, how well it would fit her. Okay, number 3. What is your favorite mom trick or mom hack that you have learned from your mom? Huh. I honestly don't know. Probably from, and I didn't really need to use this with my kids, but I did when my cousin's son was a baby. I'm just going to put these on her. It was, my cousin's son would not eat as a child, a young child, and we would do everything to get him to eat. Like, honestly, we would take him to McDonald's, to a play place, and it was literally, you go down the slide once, you need to come take a bite of your cheeseburger. You go down the slide once, you need to come eat a french fry. Like, that was the only way, one of the few ways we could get him to eat. The other way was, and my mom taught me this, that if you're having problems getting a small child to eat, you tell them there is a birdie in their tummy and it is hungry and they need to feed it. And yes, it's a complete lie, but it worked very well on my cousin's son. Like, you would put your ear up to his stomach and you'd be like, T, the birdie is so hungry, you need to eat to feed it. It is crying in your tummy. It's so hungry. And then he would laugh and then he'd eat it, whatever you were trying to feed him. So that's probably one of the things that kind of stands out. Other than that, like, I love my mom, but a lot of my parenting has more so come from, like, friends, like, parenting styles, and, like, online forums, things that I've done myself, because, like I said, I'm an only child, and so I really didn't see my mom with many kids, especially younger kids or even older kids, like, for parenting styles. And I parent completely different than my mother. I'm more parent like my father, which is, you know, I'm there. Like, what an example is my kids going outside to play. I am not a full-on free-range parent, But my kids can go outside in the backyard without my husband or myself. If they're going to play in the front riding their bikes, my husband and myself need to be outside, but we're not hovering over them. Like, they can ride, we can be in the garage doing something, as long as we're out there. Where when my mom's here, even with my kids, like, where they're at, she has to be. So if they're riding their bike on the street, she needs to be out there riding their bike on the street. If they're in the backyard, she needs to be in the backyard. Like, she thinks it's horrible that I send my kids out to the backyard alone. We have a fully fenced-in backyard. We have a pretty good-sized backyard, and they have stuff out there, so they don't really need me, especially at now 8 and 6. The next question, number 4. Does your mom know about your YouTube channel? If so, does she watch? Yes and no. She knows that I make videos. She knows that I have a YouTube channel. But I don't think she realizes the extent of my dolls on the channel. I know she knows that the dolls are on the channel. But my parents, even my father, are not very supportive of my doll collecting. They think it's just a waste of money, and that the money that I use for the dolls, which I sell stuff on eBay to fund my collection, to fund my hobby. But my mom and dad see it as just wasting money. And even, like, their whole thing is, oh, you can use that money to buy a house, so you could be using that money to buy this for your kids, to do that for your kids, to take a vacation with your kids. And it's like, we are saving for a house, we are doing vacations, we are buying, I mean, our kids have way more stuff than they need. And it's almost like I need to be selfish for myself. Like, that's how I keep my mom's sanity. And more my husband, for my husband, like, to keep his dad's sanity, he's into sports. He's like, he coaches my daughter's softball team. I mean, that's what he does as an outlet. And it's almost like, you know, I could spend $5 to $10 on this outfit, and I would catch a lot of flack from my parents. Where my husband could go and spend $5 on one softball, and they wouldn't even blink an eye at it. So that's where I get frustrated. So like I said, my mom knows about the channel, or she knows I make videos for YouTube. Other than that, she doesn't know much past that. And she's also not very computer savvy, so. Oh, okay. So where was that? That was number 4. Number 5. What is a phrase or saying your mom always said, or says or said? I can't think of one that she always said. Okay, take that back. Back to last question. How much did that cost? Is usually what comes out of her mouth. Like, I was excited. Oh, my son's birthday present. Like, I posted a video of him opening it on Facebook, and she calls me later. She's like, well, that had to cost a lot of money. This is stuff that I've had to work through therapy with. One day she was actually getting very intrusive, and my husband and I haven't had the perfect relationship. We've had to go through couples counseling, and in that we discovered that one of our triggers as a couple was my mom's very intrusiveness of needing to be involved in our finances. And being I was an only child, and she kind of in a way brainwashed me to the fact of just giving her the information willingly, which it bothered my husband. In therapy, we sat down and realized, you know, that was a trigger for him that upset him. I didn't realize I was even doing it until it was brought up. And, you know, now I even told her back then, like, this needs to stop. It is none of your business. I'm a grown adult. I am married. I have 2 kids. My finances are none of your business. And she'll still try to do stuff. And I'll have to stop her. And in fact, there was a phone call the other day that she kept pushing, she kept pushing, she kept pushing. And finally, I'm like, Mom, you're not listening to me. You're not respecting my wishes. So I need to end this call now. And I did. So probably what she said a lot, that and I love you and say your prayers. Those are her signature ones. Number 6. Are you named after anyone special? How did your mom or dad come up with your name? I am named after my dad's grandfathers. Obviously, I have the female versions of the grandfathers' names, but that's who I'm named after. My dad's brother has a only child as well, and it is a boy. His name is actually the opposite of my name. So, yeah, his is the male version. But both of our names are named after our dad's grandfathers. Like I said, mine's Nicole, and then my middle name, and then his is the male version, Nicholas. So we have the flop names. My mom wanted to either name me Christina Nicole or Nicole Elizabeth. And my mom had some complications when I was born, and the nurse kept drilling, like my mom was still in the operating room. I was born, well, she had meds, but naturally. But she had a lot of complications post-birth, and they actually had brought her into the OR to have me. She wasn't in a regular delivery room. And they took me and my dad out of the room, and the nurse kept asking my dad what my name was. And finally, he just blurted it out, and it's like, well, how do you want to spell it? And he's like, I don't know, spell it the normal way. And my mom, honestly, I think my mom said that she didn't get to see me for 12 hours after I was born, where she was stable enough to see me. And the nurse brought me in and announced my name to her, and my mom was like, oh, okay. And apparently at that point, you didn't have to have the mom's signature for the birth certificate. I don't know. I don't know if she just left it. I just know that my dad was the one that named me. They didn't know if I was a boy or a girl either. So if I would have been a boy, I would have had the male version. I would have been Nicholas and then the male version of my middle name. What number? That was 6. So we are on 7. What is something you and your mom always love to do together? Shop. As a child, we'd go shopping, even if it wasn't buying anything. We'd go to the mall a lot. Actually, as a family, we'd go to the mall a lot. I got to, like, teenage years where obviously you don't want to do really much with your parents, so I didn't. Then, as I got older, you know, we'd kind of start doing more shopping and stuff together, especially once I got pregnant with my son and had my kids. Number 8. What is one of your favorite childhood memories of you and your mom? I have to think about that one. I mean, there's lots of memories with my mom. And like I've said in the past, I love my mom. I know I love my mom. But, and I'm close to my mom, but I think going back to some of the things that have come up in my adulthood kind of, it's sad to say, have been kind of pinpointed on her and my grandmother. So in a way, some of it I feel like is a little tainted because of that. It's hard to say. As a child, I remember going on picnics a lot and like going to the zoo. But even that with going to the zoo, that usually my dad was involved. I can't really think of many just my mom and I memories. Because it was always my mom, my dad, and I, unless we were going shopping or something like that, where my dad wouldn't want to go. So my mom, like I've said, she's very much in denial about my dad. And I think that also has an issue of she's not very independent without my dad. She's very dependent on him. So a lot of times going places, the three of us went. There wasn't many times just her and I went and did something. Or we had to go do stuff with her parents. And with that, like another childhood memory was, it was with her parents and then my best friend at the time. We took a trip to Teddy Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota. And there is like this old time house. I believe it was General Custer's house, if I remember correctly. Well, you could take a tour of the house, and when you did the tour of the house, your guides were dressed in character. And I mean, we were having fun with it. Like, obviously we came in wearing jeans and pants and stuff, but they were dressed, period. And like my mom would be like, oh, our wagon got stuck and we had to put on these men's clothing because our dresses were ruined and stuff like that. It's probably a memory. Number 9. Did your mom wear any special perfume or fragrance that to this day when you smell you are instantly reminded of her? No. I get migraine. I'm very smell sensitive. I get migraines with perfumes and very strong scents. My mom is similar, but not to my extent. Although she always loved to buy cheap granny. I always called it granny. She always liked to buy cheap hand lotion, and it smelled horrible. It smelled like old lady. So I guess that reminds me of her. The old lady smell from cheap hand lotion. Like, even I would go to Bath and Body Works and buy her a nice smelling lotion, and she would still go to the dollar store and buy her sample or her dollar store lotion that smelled like an old lady, and it was horrible. My dad would even say that to her. Number 10. What is your favorite recipe or dish that your mom made as a child? Taco hot dish. Or if you're from the South, taco casserole. A lot of people like it. My husband actually likes it. The first time, if my mom or I make this, the first time you make it for somebody and they've never eaten it before, they're going to look at you like you have 4 heads and somebody puked in that pot and you're serving it to them. Because initially the base is cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup, what is it? Those two, a can of cream of mushroom, a can of cream of chicken, a can of enchilada sauce, and then you have ground hamburger. We use turkey burger. Same thing, I guess if you wanted to use sausage, just like a ground up and cooked meat. You put the cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, and the enchilada sauce and the meat all in one pot, and you bring that to warm it up till that comes to a boil. Then you get out a casserole dish. I don't have any anymore, so I've done it in my crock pot too, where you start layering. You put a layer of what's in the pot, and I will warn people, if you make it, it looks like somebody vomited in that pot, because when you mix the 2 mushroom soups with the enchilada sauce, it comes out that very nasty color. And then it's got the chunks from the meat. It looks horrible. But you put that in, then you put some tortilla chips that are crushed up, put a layer of or some cheese on that, some shredded cheese, then you put another layer, and you just keep layering the mixture chips cheese until you fill up your casserole dish. And then on the top you put another layer of chips, and then cheese, and then you put it in the oven, and then you turn the oven on 350 and you bake it for like 15 minutes. Just enough that the cheese on the top gets really melty and gooey. And then you serve that with some, we usually use sour cream. My dad uses nothing, or my dad just puts extra cheese on his, because he doesn't like sour cream. But other people have used salsas and stuff like that. And it's very good. It looks horrible when you, even when you take it out and you put it on a plate. It looks bad. For the longest time, my daughter wouldn't eat it because she said it looked like somebody threw up on her plate. Finally, my husband convinced her to eat it, and now she likes it. And number 11, it's a bonus question. If money were not an issue and you could buy or give your mother anything in the world that shows her the love and appreciation on Mother's Day, what gift would you give her? Cure for my dad's cancer. Sorry, you guys can hear my son in the background. He's being really loud today. He's still homesick. But I would either say, yeah, I would say like a cure for his cancer, where right now they're kind of limited because of her, between her job and his job. She obviously needs to keep her job so they can keep their insurance, but on the other hand, there's probably somewhere that's doing some experimental cancer research that could cure him, so, or put him in remission. So those are my answers to the Mother's Day. Like I said, I will put Love Me Some Reborns, the video, her video, in the comment below, as well as the question. And it looks like she is doing a Mother's Day giveaway with this. So it says Mother's Day tag and giveaway. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I'm glad you're here. I will leave this open until May 15th, 2018. So those are my answers, and I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you all later. Bye.